Another edition of the On the Mic podcast coming off an electric UFC 299. Talking to a man who had an electric finish and performance in the featured prelim, and he's got big business ahead of him. He is the one and only Curtis Razor Blaydes. Curtis, welcome back. Thank you for making the time just shortly after your win. Congratulations on the win. Was it a frustrating fight for you?
Yeah, we did expect him to be hyper aggressive with the wrestling, but I underestimated just like how focused he was going to be or how one dimensional he was. Because I was expecting him like after the initial takedown to like open up, release his grip, and start hitting me, and that would be my opportunity to get up. That's how you drill it. You wait for the other guy to make a mistake or do anything. He didn't. He just wanted to squeeze. So I was very frustrated to have a whole round. I wasted a whole round just allowing a guy to squeeze on me like that. But I didn't allow it to like to take me out of what I needed to do. We adjusted. We knew he was going to be going right back into the next round. So I was prepared to sprawl a lot faster this time and got to my spot and was able to get some decent grounding down there to get the finish.
Decent is a nice way of putting it. Was that something you and your corner had talked about in between the rounds? Just, hey, if you get the opportunity, let's just land shots right away.
Yeah, no, they heavily emphasized like you need to do something. It wasn't like a specific, but you need to do something. You cannot allow him to have another uh round like he just did.
And I know there were questions about the if there was an uppercut landed, but it was just all hammer fist.
No, no. I watched it over and over, and like, 'cause I don't even know, but I don't think I threw uppercut. Yeah, I think people think it was an uppercut, but it was me digging for underhooks. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
yeah. No, but I watched it a few times already myself as well. So good for clarity on that. Man, was there a little bit of extra frustration in those hammer fists as well? Because obviously you
Yes,
said the
yes.
frustrating first round.
That's what it was. It was. I was just like, you need to do something else. You cannot just hang on my leg. Yeah, because I
That's
wasn't
awesome.
expecting to get the finish. I was just expecting him to. I thought he would move and like we would reposition and we go from there. I was not expecting him to just hang on and allow me to get in the finish in that position. It just happened. That was organic as fuck.
And it was clean as fuck. Would you say you knew he went out, or was it when the ref pulled you out?
Uh, yeah, I could. It was a combination because you can always see, well, not see, but you can like feel the referee just like hovering, and I could feel Almeida's grip. It went from being like, to like it started to relax. So that's when I knew.
And obviously, I would, and we're going to talk about a lot here, but I would assume just months and months of frustration. I mean, you get this fight, you've been in this what feels like a circus act at the top of the division for the last 5+ years. I mean,
Mhm.
how do you not get thrown off your path when you've been dealing this with year after year? And now recently it's like they're throwing contender, contender, contender. Almost like they're like, is there any way we can get Curtis out of the top five? And you continue to prove that they can't do that.
um, well, I take it as a challenge. Like if they think that they can give me these bottom 10, well, not, I don't want to say bottom, but they're top 10 guys, but they're not top five guys. There's a big difference between top five and the rest of the five in the top 10. If they want to keep give me those guys, I'll take it. That's easy money. Obviously, I want the title shot, but I have to earn that. I hope I earned it for last night, for this weekend's performance. But I knew after the Pavlovich loss, I knew I was going to get an Almeida. We were supposed to fight back in November. that didn't happen. I'm very happy that we got rescheduled because you never know what after you after you have an injury pull out, you're not guaranteed to get that exact same matchup again. So I'm very happy I got the matchup, and I took it as like I said a challenge. Everybody's been hyping up Almeida. I know he lost a little bit of hype because of how he fought Eric Lewis, but he still had hype. He was on a 15 fight win streak and all that, and I'm happy to be the one to end the hype.
That you did. Let me ask you, as a guy who spent some time in there with him now, he's obviously tried both, weight class 205 and heavyweight. Where do you think Jailton Almeida would be best served, at light heavyweight or heavyweight?
He can hang with heavyweights, but he's not going to beat me, Aspinall. He might be gone. I think he could like take, but it would be hella boring. Like I think at light heavyweight, he could actually take people down and open up. He wouldn't have to just squeeze. He'd be able to. He wouldn't feel like he's so underpowered. I think that's why he hangs on like that. He's like, oh, these guys are so big and strong. I got them on the ground. I gotta just hold them down here. I don't do that because I understand. Like I'm heavy. If I take you down, I can use my heaviness and anchor and allow my hands to hit you. He hasn't figured out how to use the bottom half of his body as an anchor, which will open up his hands. He uses his hands as the anchor. That's why he just squeezes. I think at light heavyweight, he'd have that option of opening up a lot more.
It'd be interesting where he goes from here. All right. So you and I have talked for years, so I think I get a pretty straightforward answer from you here. Are we now, Curtis Blaydes, just in the business of we're just gonna keep making money, or do you still want to send a statement to the UFC like I'm one of your top guys, I'm not going anywhere, and I'm coming for the belt? You like, are you still in that mindset of I
Ah,
it can't be denied?
a little bit of both. Like obviously, I will take an opportunity at the belt, but I'm just happy having a job. I made 400 grand. That's all. That's fine with me. Like if they want to give me another bottom five guy to I can make some easy money again, I'll take it. But I would prefer Astronaut. That's what I want. I do want a title shot. I do want to show the world that I can hang. I can be the best. I do believe I have the skills to be the best in the world. And the only way to prove that is to get a title shot. But I'm not gonna like lose sleep over it if I don't get it. But that's where I am. It's weird.
How do you look at your resume, just kind of self-reflecting, right? Obviously, just only a few blemishes, but you have the very best names on your resume. Missing the John fight, missing, the Stipe fight, but you have so many good names on your resume. How do you evaluate some of the wins and some of the names on your resume?
I think I've factored in the names. I also factor in like the time that I was able to get those names. Like I got Hunt when I was early, when I was raw. So that was a hard fight for me. Even though he was older at that time, he had all that experience. Same thing with Alistair. He had all that experience over me. I was still somewhat raw when I fought him also. Junior was a little different. I was a little more confident in my abilities. He wasn't as old as Alistair or as old as Hunt. I value all those names. All those guys, it's hard to beat those guys. Regardless of what time you get them, it's hard to beat them. And I'm very, very proud to have the list of scalps I do have.
Yeah, your resume is very tough to match up with, especially in the division. I am going to do something I never really do, and I'm going to interrupt this interview to get your thoughts on something that's happening.
Well,
It's why I'm wearing the hat because the free agency time has opened.
oh,
No,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
a big
yeah, yeah.
football fan.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
Bears just signed DeAndre Swift to be their new starting running back.
Whoa. How old is Swift?
Yeah,
How
DeAndre Swift.
how old is he? He
I
30?
want to say I don't know if he's 30 yet, but there were talks of Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley. And they
Uh,
on DeAndre Swift, he is 25.
oh, well, big difference. Happy is Swift. I like our O line. Our O line, we can we can average 115 yards a game rushing. In today's league, that's good enough. I think with Swift as the lead back, hopefully, we still got Herbert. We got uh, Roshan Johnson. I like it. We're good. We're good at running back. I'm hoping we get that receiver out of Washington,
Rome Odunze.
Roma Dunze,
I knew you were a
the
smart
number
man,
nine.
Curtis. Yeah.
Yeah, I want him at number nine. Hope we. I'm really hoping we draft Williams for number one. We get him. We get Roma Dunze. Maybe we get another pass rusher. I'm optimistic. This is the most optimistic I've been about the Bears offseason in my adult lifetime. Like
Yeah.
in the last 15 years, what year is it? 24s? Oh yeah. Going back to like '06 when they went to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
This is the most
Yep. Same here.
optimistic I've been in a long time.
Well, back to business. With every you called, obviously for the Tom Aspinall fight in your post-fight interview. I think that fight makes a lot of sense. But I'm gonna give you the floor now because you talked about it in your post-fight presser. You talked about it backstage, and you mentioned him earlier. Ciryl Gane's not getting a fight with you, is he?
No, no, he's not. He played games. He played games because he had leverage. Now I got leverage. I'm gonna play those same games. Just like I know he's not scared of me. I'm not scared of him, but he knows I was a hard fight, and I could have taken him off the path to the title shot. I'm using the same analogy. If I don't have to fight him in order to get a title shot, why would I? I'm going to get if they're going to offer me Aspinall or Gone, why would I take Gone? I'm going Aspinall, and I think Aspinall's going to say the same thing because Gone played this same games for Aspinall. He Aspinall was asking for Gone. Gone said no. You screwed yourself, Gone. You like I think the I think the reason Aspinall and we got respect because after we had our fight, even though it wasn't really a fight, he got injured. We had a beer. We hung out. He's a nice guy. I respect him. I still want to fight him. I think the feelings are mutual. He respects me. He wants to get that a rematch. I think it's going to happen because of that mutual respect we have. I don't have that mutual respect for God, but he played games, and there are certain guys who earn the right to play those games. He hadn't earned those rights. He'd only been in the UFC for like 2.5 years. I've been in the UFC for 8 years. I can play those games, and I am going to play. I'm getting a title shot. Screw down.
So would I be wrong to say you're way more willing to take the easy money fights to guys below you before you would take the fight with Gane?
Yep. I'm not helping him. He didn't want to help me. I'm not helping him. Mm-mm.
Well, and I mean, you say play the game, but that's just a smart move on your point, right? Because not only, the games that were played, but if we're going to wait for so long for the heavyweight title to be, determined between John and Stipe, wherever that goes, and then possibly who knows what happens. Maybe they both walk out and retire. Maybe,
I think they do.
yeah, and I think that's kind of the sentiment
And
around all this. I know John's been on other promotions broadcasts and said, Francis and Aspinall and Stipe, but if they both walk out, and let's say while this is all waiting in the wings, are you down just fighting for the interim title against Aspinall?
yes, hell yeah. I think they do me versus Aspinall, and you do Shogun versus Pavlovich, and then whoever wins between me and Aspinall gets to like the winner of Gon Pavlovich. And it's only fair. Only
Yeah,
fair.
it makes sense, right? It's like the aging veterans who are 1 foot out the door You can have your fight, and then let's open the division back up for
Yeah,
business. For so long, I mean, we have seen so many titles change hand and hand and hand over the past few years, but heavyweight's just been the stalemate. And yeah, we've seen titles change hands, but I've been talking to you for a good part of your run in the UFC. And it seems like for a while we were stuck on DC and Stipe. Now we're still stuck on Stipe, just this time with John Jones. And and then we had the Francis Ngannou thing. And so when you look at all that, we're right there. I feel like we're right in the red zone, right? We're right in the red zone of
yeah,
opening the heavyweight business division back up for business. Are you getting a sense of relief? Like, all right, pretty soon the top of this division is going to get so active
yeah,
because there's going to be no choice.
yeah. I think we're about to enter a new era. I, 'cause I can already see it in Aspinall. He doesn't think like the other guys. He ready to scrap. He ready. He wants to scrap. He wants to defend the title. He wants to prove he's he's one of the best. I respect that. That's the only way I'm gonna get an opportunity is he has to like have that mindset. If he had the mindset of John Jones, he would wait. He would wait a year and a half. Thankfully, he doesn't. But that would suck. I'd be screwed again. I don't know what I would do if he had John Jones' mindset. I'd be screwed. So I'm very happy that Aspinall is like a respectable guy and he's he's ready to run it back.
Did you think Aspinall would win the interim title in such a fashion in which he did? I know you guys didn't have a full fight, but
I did believe he would win. I didn't think it would be over like that fast, but he's got hand speed. He's very fast. He believes in his hand speed. He's athletic. He has that in and out type of energy. He doesn't just hang out and just go punch for punch. He likes to hit and to not get hit. That's like what I want to do also. So I and also I think I don't I'm not making no excuses, but then a lot of people are going to take this as an excuse. I don't like the apex octagon, especially for heavyweights. We're too big. It forces um it forces engagements and interactions before you actually like want those interactions. Like you don't get to set up nothing. You don't get to dance. I use the analogy of Aljo versus uh Corey's Sandhagen. Had they had that fight in the standard octagon, I don't think Aljo was able to touch Sandhagen. But because of that small octagon, he's able to close the distance so much faster than what you would usually expect. Gets on his back and he gets the finish. And that's not to take anything away from Aljo, just like that's not to take anything away from Sergey. Like he knocked me out. Respect. But I don't think that happens in the bigger octagon. I think I have the space to dance. I like to dance. I have the space to dance and I have the space to like set stuff up. I'm I am not a fan of the Apex Octagon. I'm really not.
I think fans of the sport obviously understand exactly where you're coming from with that. So we kind of have a path kind of laid out here for you. I will ask you if and when this fight is ever made, who do you have in Stipe and John Jones?
I got Stipe, but it's heavyweights, so we know you go either way. But if we're not allowed to bet anymore. But if I was, I put my money on Stipe.
You made a comment that we're about to enter the new era of of kind of a new time in the heavyweight division. You mentioned having been in the UFC for 8 years. There are so many young, quote unquote, younger names and new names coming up towards the top of the heavyweight division, along with yourself. As a guy who has been the young up and comer taking on those guys, do you have like more of a sense of pride to be like, hey, I'm the veteran here and I'm
No,
welcoming this new era, but you guys aren't getting through me that easy?
no, I view myself as an OG now. Like I've officially reached OG status. I got I got stats now. I got a few records now. You can make a whole highlight playlist of all my fights now. Like I'm legit. I never when I got in the UFC, my goal originally was just I didn't want to be one of those guys who was like, yeah, I was in the UFC for like one fight or like two fights. You know, guys like that who just brag about that. They they were there for a brief period, but you weren't really a UFC guy. I will be remembered as one of the best heavyweights. Regard, I know that in like 15 years from now, my name will be brought up. I'll be the guys will be like, oh yeah, you remember that guy, the wrestler who was always taking people down? I have a history now. I have a legacy. I'm an OG, and like you said, I welcome the younger guys. Like if you think you bad enough, I'll take you. I'll fight you.
I love it. I'm getting fired up just talking to you. Uh, I do. Where does this scheduled timeline set up for you now? Are you just in wait and see mode?
Well, they mentioned July in Manchester, England. So I'm hoping we get something by July. If not, I will wait. I want Aspinall. I feel like I've earned that, and I don't think I'm an asshole if I wait for it. I think I'll wait. I want Aspinall.
Yeah, I don't think you are either. And kind of to not to beat a dead horse, but we talked about Tom Aspinall not. With that mutual respect, and with the fact, no matter how it played out on the record books, you have a win over him. When having that mutual respect and knowing he wants to get that one back in a fight against you, just everything stacks up in your favor at this point, right?
Uh, yeah. I mean, in terms of me actually being the one to get the fight, yeah, I think the odds are heavily in my favor. It makes sense. We have the narrative. UFC love a good narrative. We got the history, and he doesn't have an opponent. So I think yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it could be me or it could be Gone. I think he would prefer to give me a title shot than Gone. That's just my opinion. I haven't spoken to Aspinall about it, but that's how I feel.
I think the masses would agree with you there. Just a fun one. Now, Jailton set, as frustrating as it was, he did set a record for, takedowns, although he didn't do anything with
Yeah.
it. As one of the most highly known and respected wrestlers in the division, do you ever want to like get and beat that mark now?
I mean, what's the record? What's the record?
I think they said on the broadcast he said it with 9 in that first round.
Yeah, but that's hard because you know how
Right.
he got that nine? Because I
'Cause he
got up
didn't do anything with
9-9. Exactly. So it's gonna be hard to get. And honestly, that's not one to be proud of. Like he just hold like we wrestle totally different. When I got a bunch of takedowns against Volkov and against Mark Hunt, I'm not just squeezing. You can see my hands. I'm looking to do damage. We are not the same. I don't want people to mention his wrestling with my wrestling. They're not the same. Like,
No, I think that was proven this past weekend there in Miami.
yeah,
And I just a couple more, and I do appreciate you giving me all this time. I got to ask you about a former opponent. The night before your fight, Francis Ngannou went into the boxing ring and had a very, very vicious knockout defeat to Anthony Joshua. Did you see that fight? What did you make of it? And do you think Francis could bounce back in the world of boxing?
yeah. On the fight, what does that make of it? He Anthony Joshua is a better boxer than the majority of heavyweights in MMA because you know what? Because all he does is box. He's been doing nothing but boxing his whole life. So the muscle memory, the hands, feet, is just a little. It's like if I went out there and wrestled, you know, Kyle England, the guy from Ohio. If I
Yeah.
wrestled him, he probably smoked me because all he does is wrestle. That's all he should smoke me in wrestling. That I'm not shocked. And it doesn't mean that Ngannou's a bum or anything. Anthony Joshua's a stud. So you got beat by a stud. And you made a lot of money. It's okay. He'll be okay. I think he will bounce back. I think he'll be just fine.
Do you think he should get back in? Obviously, he has a deal with the PFL. Do you think he should get back into MMA, or would you like to see him take another boxing fight, or maybe do both?
I don't know. That's a lot. That's a lot on the mental. So I guess that depends on like I don't know how much he can handle. Like, I know me, I wouldn't be doing both. That's just too much. I would be like, for this year, I'm just going to box, or for this year, I'm just going to do MMA. It's just hard because they're not the same sport. It's hard to do two different sports at the same time.
Yeah, well, it'll definitely be interesting to see there. Curtis, last thing, what is your message to Tom Aspinall? Just try to get this fight. Not calling for it, so to speak.
No,
But I think everyone should see that fight again.
I mean, respectively, like I know he wants to get that off his record. I know he wants to get that back. That's how I would feel. That's how I would approach it. Like, yeah, I lost, but I didn't really lose. That's how I view it. I don't do that as a win. I don't brag about that win. I'm like, yeah, I fucked up Aspinall. No, I didn't. He hurt himself, and I got my hand raised. I got the win bonus, which was nice, but I I really do feel like as a man, as a fighter, when you lose like that off an injury, it leaves a nasty taste in your mouth, and you want the only way to get rid of that is to run it back. That's the only way to get rid of it.
Well, you silenced a lot of critics and doubters and did your thing as you always have done throughout your tenure with the UFC.
One
Hopefully that
question:
fight isn't. Yeah,
Was I the underdog? Because I don't be looking at gambling sites. Was I the underdog?
I think I could tell you here in a moment. Give me a second.
'Cause I don't think
I
I've ever been the underdog. That might have been a first.
You may have been. Let me see if I could.
Oh, that's wild. I like being an underdog though. That's wild.
Yeah, I'm not. I could look. Trying to think.
Because I looked up. I do this every time after a fight. I go on YouTube and type in type in my name and predictions. Everybody was picking Almeida. Like I've watched about 15 different like these are all smaller YouTube people, but I still value their opinions. They all like you've listened to this British guy on the MMA guru.
I do not listen to him.
No,
No, I know
well
who he is.
he he picked against me. Like all these guys picked against me. I was like, oh, I must be the underdog, huh?
Well, as of CBS Sports, looking at that, they had it as a pick 'em. It was you both were minus 115.
That's
Um,
still weird, also.
yeah. But that ever fire you up though? Like I know you said
Yeah,
don't really look at predictions and stuff. When
I
you're like, all
I
right,
look at it afterwards. It pisses me off in the aftermath. Like, oh, all y'all didn't believe in me. Oh, I like that though. I like I like when people. I like to be doubted. I like to prove people wrong. It feels good. That's why I don't mind going to England. Like, I know everyone there in England's gonna be like, "Oh, you're gonna lose." I want to prove them wrong. I went to Australia, beat Mark Hunt, pissed off a lot of Australians. I like doing that. I would have enjoyed beating Almeida in Brazil. That'd have been nice. That'd have been that'd have been crazy.
that and then
We
if you could have turned around and had that UK fight against Aspinall, the rematch,
yeah.
enemy territory in 2024, that would have been great. So DraftKings had you as a plus 105. So you were basically a pick 'em, but an underdog. But yeah, good to know I don't do prediction shows because I don't need fighters to speak for yourself calling
Oh
me
yeah,
out. Have you
we be
ever?
watching.
I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure. How many
We be
messages
watching.
do you ever get where guys like you ruined my parlay?
Oh my gosh, hundreds, hundreds, hundreds,
That is the
hundreds.
word. That is the most toxic thing I think I've seen. And
Yeah,
but it's not just MMA. I see
no,
NFL, NFL guys get it, NBA guys get it. Oh, because you miss a free throw. All right, and then we see your regular day people come out at halftime and they got to make one free throw for 10 grand
exactly.
and they can't touch the net. It's the funniest thing in all of sports. But man, I'm super happy for you. I can't wait to see how the rest of the year shapes up for you. And for everyone out there, don't pick against them. I mean, because just don't pick against them. You're really a good representation not only for MMA as a whole, but Chicago, Colorado. Really happy for you, man. And it gets as someone who's talked to you for so long, it gets frustrating. You're like, I understand what the UFC might be trying to do, but how many times does
I
this man
see
got to
it.
prove you wrong?
I see what they're doing. I see it. I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
It's a great test to a fantastic career that just continuing to rise to the top. Curtis Blaydes, thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate your time, man.
Always.